The Bell and the Brave. In the dusty corners of a cozy old pantry, a community of mice lived in constant worry. They spent their days tiptoeing around crumbs and whispering in the shadows, always watching the kitchen door. The smallest mouse, Pipkin, and the oldest mouse, Maisie, often sat together, wondering if they would ever feel safe enough to play in the light. The reason for their fear was Midnight, a cat with fur as dark as a moonless night and eyes like glowing golden lanterns. Midnight was a master of silence. She moved like a ghost across the wooden floors. Whenever she was near, the pantry became as quiet as a grave, for her sharp claws were always ready. One evening, the mice called a great meeting under the floorboards. They gathered in a circle, their whiskers twitching with nerves. "We cannot live in fear anymore," Pipkin squeaked, standing tall on a discarded button. Maisie nodded slowly, her wise eyes scanning the room as the mice began to argue about what to do. Many mice shared their ideas. A mouse named Barnaby suggested they all wear heavy armor made of bottle caps. Others thought they should move to the garden, but the owls lived there. "Every plan is too difficult," Barnaby sighed, dragging a heavy metal cap across the floor. Pipkin listened to every word, trying to think of something better. Suddenly, Pipkin's eyes lit up. He hopped onto a wooden spool of thread and waved his paws for silence. "I have it," he cried. "The problem is that we never hear Midnight coming. We need a signal. If we hang a bell around her neck, we will hear a tingling every time she takes a step." The mice gasped in wonder. Pipkin pulled a tiny, shiny silver bell from a hidden corner. It was beautiful and bright, with a small golden clapper inside. He showed it to Maisie, who leaned in close to inspect the shimmering metal. It seemed like the perfect solution to all their problems. "A bell? A bell!" the mice cheered. Barnaby and Pipkin began to dance around the silver treasure. They imagined a future where they could feast on cheese and crackers without ever looking over their shoulders. The tinkling sound of the bell was the sweetest music they had ever heard. But then, the room grew quiet as Maisie stood up. She leaned on her toothpick cane and looked at the crowd. The cheering died down, and the mice waited for her to speak. She was the oldest, and she knew that even the best ideas had to face the light of day. "It is indeed a wonderful plan, Pipkin," Maisie said softly. "A bell would certainly warn us of the cat's approach. But let me ask you one very important question. Who among us is going to be the one to walk up to Midnight and tie the bell around her neck?" The pantry went deathly silent. Pipkin looked out through a crack in the wall at Midnight, who was napping peacefully in a sunbeam. He looked at the bell in his paws and then back at the sleeping cat. He realized then that it is very easy to talk about doing something brave, but it is much harder to actually do it.